Trial exams are around the corner, and I've been receiving a lot of DMs from you guys telling me how anxious and stressed you are and that you don't even know where to begin preparing for the trial exams. And a lot of you were asking me to make a video on how to prepare for trial exams, and here I am, as per request, about to deliver the best advice and the best study tips on how you can prepare for your trial exams. As someone who has traveled this journey, I know how stressful it can be. And I know that there are only a few weeks left before you guys start with your trial exams. So I'm not here to bombard you with a lot of information that you won't be able to handle. I am just gonna give you the best advice, only what you need to hear at this point to help reduce your anxiety and to better prepare yourself for these exams. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for watching one of my videos once again. And if you are new here, welcome. I hope you do stay and become a part of my journey as I become Dr. Andy. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel and like this video if you're excited about it, and please click the notification bell so that you are notified every time I post a video. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you 10 pieces of advice on how you can better prepare yourself for your trial exams. I'm going to be telling you things that you should expect, things to look out for, things that you should do, things that can help you prepare for the exams, and things to avoid, things that I wish I knew before I wrote my trial exams. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is what to expect on your trial exams. Trial exams are basically final exams written in September. Every content that is covered in the curriculum of grade 12 is gonna be in that exam, whether it was taught at school or it was not taught at your school. It is gonna be tested. So the first advice I'm gonna give you is know what to expect. So when you prepare for an exam, you are basically preparing to answer a number of questions. And when you are studying, you need to ask yourself, what type of questions am I studying to answer? So the most important thing for you to do is to actually check the questions that are going to be examined on your trial exams. The best way to do this is to actually take a past paper and literally browse through all the questions that they have tested and all the topics, because the topics never change. Question 1 is always going to be testing similar content, the same as question 2, question 3, up until the end of that paper. There's no way that they can change anything up or introduce a new topic unless they're introducing a new curriculum. So your past paper gives you exactly what to expect. So my advice to you is to write down all the topics that are going to be tested in each paper, your paper 1, your paper 2, for each and every subject, and highlight the ones that you've never covered before or you completely forgotten in red, and the ones that you feel like you remember them or you perform average in them but you still have to go back to them in orange, and the ones that you are confident with or the topics that you've just covered now in green. By doing this, you actually get to know where to start. Obviously, you're going to start with the topics that are highlighted in red because you want to make sure that all the content that you have not covered, you cover it immediately, and all the content that you have forgotten, for example, content from first term, you need to make sure that you start with it. The second thing is know how much marks does each topic weigh. The most amazing thing about high school is that everything that you need to know about your exam, you are given beforehand. If you are still sitting right now and you do not know how much each topic for each subject weigh on your paper, you need to go and check it now, because that information, it is freely available to you. If you check through past papers, you can notice a pattern that each topic counts marks that are around the same average, and even some textbooks and study guides will give you a breakdown on what each topic will weigh in what exam, and this helps you to know how much time you should put in preparing each topic. You do not want to spend weeks and weeks preparing for a topic that will count only 18 marks and ignore a topic that counts 56 marks. The effort that you put when it comes to preparing for each topic should correspond to how much it weighs on the exam. In that way, you will increase your chances of getting the maximum marks possible, because you are distributing your attention where it is actually needed. For an example, in maths, I know that geometry counts a lot of marks. So you can never practice maths and just skip geometry and never practice it. That is the topic that you should master first before going to the other topics, because that is where you are most likely to lose the most marks. The third advice that I'm going to give you is start preparing now. Stop procrastinating. You need to start with your revision now. Now it's time to gather all your notes that you've been making since term 1. It is time to now go through all the work that you have been doing. Honestly, it is not too early to start preparing for your trial exams right now. I know most of you might be still going to school, attending classes, some of you still learning new topics, of which that shouldn't be the case. But at this point, you need to start with your revision. Which then leads me to my fourth advice of have your own study schedule. I know this is difficult, especially if you are attending classes and these classes are compulsory, but honestly speaking, from my experience, I did not follow what the teachers were doing when it comes to days prior my exams or even weeks prior my exams. I would put myself first, because remember, you are the only one who knows where you lack. You are the only one who knows which topics you still need to cover and what topics you are good with. You are the only one who knows which subject actually is more difficult for you and which one is not. So obviously each and every teacher will try to prioritize their own subject, and they will try to literally shove all those topics down your throat, especially if they are not consistent with teaching you throughout the year. This is the time to actually say no to classes that you do not need. I'm going to repeat this again. Say no to classes that you do not need. I remember when I was doing high school, I was attending classes only when I needed to. I did not follow the timetable that the teachers have given us, because remember, I went to a government school, and in that school we had extra classes, winter classes, morning classes, which I was completely totally grateful for. But it got to a point where I felt like some subjects I don't need them as much as I need others. For example, it is normal for teachers to prioritize maths and science, and sometimes would have a full day of maths and a full day of science, but I was quite confident with maths and science. I don't want to lie, I did not need to study maths a full day. So I used to spend my time then focusing on subjects that I felt like I really needed to study, or subjects that I felt like I didn't pay much attention to throughout the year. So what I'm trying to say to you is, don't just follow your school program. Don't just follow your school program even if you feel like you are literally not gaining anything, just because you are scared that your teachers are going to say something or do something to you. You need to speak to your teacher if you feel like the classes that they are giving are not as useful, and you need to then take it upon yourself to actually be responsible for your own learning. if there are subjects or certain topics that you need assistance with, you need to then attend extra classes for that subject, and you need to seek extra help, which is point number 5 that I am going to mention. Going outside of your school and hearing what other teachers have to offer is really a good idea, especially if you do have that privilege, especially if you feel like your teacher is not teaching enough or you are not understanding what your teacher is teaching you. And if you feel like there are certain topics that you need assistance with, I suggest you get a tutor as soon as possible. And honestly, there's never gonna be a better time than this. Remember, when you finish your trial exams, you are only gonna be left with just a couple of weeks before you start with your final exams. So if there are any problems that you are facing right now, it is really a good idea for you to address them today. And advice number 6 is discipline. Have self-discipline. Do not wait for someone to push you to do your work. Do not wait for your teachers to push you, your parents to push you. Do not wait for me to push you to actually start doing your work. You can watch as many motivational videos, as many study tips videos as you can, but the real deal starts after this video ends. What are you gonna do about it? Are you gonna apply these tips, or are you simply gonna go back to your phone? Are you simply just gonna sleep? What are you gonna do about it? Are you gonna apply these tips? You need to be disciplined, because you are the one who knows why are you actually doing this. Why do you need to get to those good results? You know what university you want to go to next year. You know what marks do you need to actually qualify to that university. Only you know how bad you actually want this. So I am saying to you is, you need to be disciplined and actually start doing your work and taking your work seriously. Be consistent at your studying. Yes, the word that people don't really want to hear is consistency. Be consistent. Don't study only when you feel like it. Don't study only when you feel like you are motivated today to study. This is the time for you to study even when you don't feel like it. You need to work hard in order for you to achieve the results that you want. So you need to be disciplined. You need to keep on going. If you are a person who has not been consistent throughout the year, this is your time to actually start. It is never too late. Start today. Start putting in the work each and every day. And on top of discipline, I want you to be stingy with your time. This is the time for you to say no to going out, no to chilling with friends, no to TV, no to TikTok. I'm not even making a joke. If there's ever a time for you to starve yourself, other things that are not related to your academics, this is your time. Moving on to the next advice is, don't start any habits or any new study methods that you are not used to and that you won't easily adapt to. For example, if you know that you are a person who performs best after they get their 8 hours of sleep, don't change your routine now and try to sleep for 4 hours because you've heard a friend so and so sleeps for 4 hours and you're trying to try this new thing so that your results are gonna improve. It's not gonna work. It is gonna backfire because you're gonna be tired and you're gonna be sleepy in your exams. I'm gonna make a quick example about me. So my school organizes camps before we write our big exams. So now they had a camp throughout our trial exams where we literally, all of us students, stay in that school. We sleep there, eat there, study there for like the duration of our trial exams, which is like a month basically. You don't go home through that period. So I decided, okay, actually let me try this out because I mean it might be useful. Remember, this is someone who has been performing good from grade 8 on their own, studying on their own, and now in grade 12 trial exams they decide, okay, let me actually get locked up in school with other students so that I can study better. Did I not suffer? I promise you, it was, I think, day 2 when I went to my teacher crying, in literal tears, because when I was writing my first paper, I think it was English paper 3, I was sleepy throughout that paper. I'm not even gonna lie, I was sleeping. And that paper, you know, you need to be awake because you need to write that essay. You need to be creative in your writing and stuff like that. It's a very interactive paper and you need so much energy because there's a lot of writing. But I was just so exhausted because we were waking up at 4 a.m. every day on that camp, waking up to clean. You have to then collect some water to shower and then be on the line to get breakfast. Honestly, now my routine was completely changed up, and especially because I couldn't study during the hours that I was used to studying, and now I was sleeping in a hall with a lot of people. I cannot turn on the lights whenever I felt like turning on the lights. It was just a horrible experience for me. So what I'm trying to say is, don't try anything new just before your exams. Keep on doing what has been working for you, and if there are any adjustments that you would like to make, start adjusting gradually. For example, if you are sleeping 8 hours, start sleeping 6 hours and see how that works. Don't just drop down and sleep 4 hours, because honestly, that's gonna backfire. And just to end the story, I ended up exiting the camp because I just couldn't do it. I felt like my performance was gonna drop because it didn't get better. That teacher told me I should stay for a couple of days. I will be able to adjust. But I found myself that even the classes that they were organizing at that camp, they were not classes that I needed. All the topics that they were revising, I already knew. I wanted to cover the difficult stuff. You know, the stuff that I wanted to cover were not stuffs that they were covering in the class, so I had to exit that camp. That's why I am saying it is time to choose yourself and take your learning as your responsibility. A teacher might tell you what to do and might be right at some point, but sometimes it is you who knows what's actually right for you. Also, another thing I want to highlight about sleeping is control your sleeping habits. I know there are some people who sleep a lot just because they're anxious or they're stressed, or you are just a person who sleeps a lot. This thing of I didn't hear my alarm ring, oh my god, it has to end. Hear it from me. You can't be sleeping 8+ hours if you are preparing for your trial exams. I'm not saying deprive yourself of sleep, but don't sleep from 10 to 10. It's just not gonna work. Half of the day you are asleep as a matric student, it's not gonna work. So what I'm trying to say is, have a healthy relationship with your sleep. Some people feel like 8 hours is too much for them and they get a lot tired when they sleep 8 hours. And make sure that you have a good sleeping habit, because you want to make sure that you spend most of your day awake and preparing for your exams, and you do not want to wake up late for your exams. That's literally the worst thing that can happen. So other new habits that people might start before their exams that they are not used to are exercising. If you know that you are not a fit person, you've never been to gym before, you've never jogged before, literally starting exercise just a couple of days before exams, it's not a good idea because you are always gonna be tired. Yes, they might advise you that being active during your exam season is a good thing, but they don't tell you that you have to be active long before for it to work. So don't put yourself in a position where you are starting something new and you are failing to adjust. Number 2 is taking anything like energy drinks, pills, whatsoever, especially if you've never used those things, because you don't know how your body is going to react to them. Don't just do things that work for other people and you think that they're going to work for you last minute. This is not the time to try new things. It is the time to keep on doing what has been working for you. So the next advice that I'm going to say is prepare for your live orientation exam. Live orientation final exam is actually in September. I don't know if things have changed, but when I wrote my matric, my final exam for life orientation was my trial exam. So during final exam season, you didn't have a live orientation exam. So if things are currently still the same, then this tells you that you are looking at writing a final exam for orientation in just a couple of weeks, and you need to start preparing yourself really well for that subject. I know a lot of people really undermine life orientation and they think it is just general knowledge. Guys, in grade 12, I remember you needed to study that textbook in order for you to pass life orientation, and I do advise you to start preparing for your life orientation exam today, because if there's ever a subject to betray you when it comes to your statement, it is life orientation. Of course, together with languages, but life orientation, it is there. So if you are someone who is aiming to get your beautiful 7 distinctions, make sure that you prepare for your life orientation exam. So the last advice that I'm going to share with you is do practice papers. Let past papers be your friend when you are preparing for your trial exams. Literally use every grade 12 paper you come across, because every paper is useful. If there are topics that are in term 1 that you haven't understood or you need revision, go to term 1 past papers and actually do those topics. You'll notice that the term 1 papers have a lot of questions regarding that topic than trial exam past papers, because in term 1 there are literally few topics to cover. Therefore they ask a lot of questions regarding that topic so that it can make a full paper. So the best way to practice questions that you do not understand is to actually do term papers, your term 1, your term 2, to study those term topics. Do final exams and do trial exams, especially from other provinces. This is what really helped me to get the best marks possible, because I remember when I was writing my physical sciences exam, especially it was paper 1, I remember seeing a question that I did in a past paper before, and that past paper was from another province. If you didn't know, trial exams are provincial papers, so each and every province has a different paper. So it might happen that you are writing a question that was set in another province in 2018, for an example. So it is really important for you to expose yourself to as many past papers as you can so that you get the best practice, and you might be lucky and get the same question that you've done in a past paper in your exam like I did. So we've come to the end of the video. Please let me know if you found my advices useful, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Like this video, comment down below what video you would like to see next from me. Click that notification bell to be notified every time I post a video. I post videos every week on this channel. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again on my next video. Bye.